Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about cremation or burial. Which one is better? Which one do you choose? So, my name is Jasmine, an earth animal oracle, animal communicator, cat whisperer, and intuitive healer. So, late last year when Tilly did transition, it was always this question for me of like, do I bury her or do I bury the body or do I cremate her? And it was a full like push-pull. I'm not sure which way to go. We had always buried our beloved pets, lots of pets in the family home, in the property of the family home. But there was something in me that was like, I think I want to cremate my girl this time. And part of the reason was that I was living with my parents, and that's where Tilly was. And I was then had made the decision to go and do some house and pet minding, and to go into a different state. So I live in Australia, and I was moving from... Sorry about that. I was moving from Melbourne to the Gold Coast. I obviously, if I buried her, I couldn't take her with me. But if I cremated her, I could take her with me. But there was something that didn't feel right. And so I want to share a couple of pieces that may help you in this decision to give you clarity around what is the best decision. And one of the main things that made me come to the decision of burial instead of cremation was choosing the path that most reflected the journey that you and your beloved kitty cat or your beloved pet had with you. Now, in my case, the journey for Tilly and I, it was all about the natural way. We went the natural way, the holistic way, bringing her back to her roots and feeding her a pre-Pacific diet, a diet that reflected her wild instincts. And so we were all about doing it the natural way. It was raw food. There was no dry food, no synthetics, no drugs. Although she obviously did have some medicine in the last year of her earthly existence. But her overall journey was all about the holistic way, the natural way, and getting as close to nature as possible. And so when I looked at it from the perspective of cremation or burial, I looked at it from the perspective of burial is the most natural way. I am literally returning her body back to Gaia and back to the earth, versus the cremation, which was more of a human construct, and it was obviously going through the fire, which is still a natural element, but then it was ashes. And for me, it just didn't feel like the most natural process. Like if she was out in the wild, the soul would leave the body. The body would be left to decompose, and all of the bones and those components would go back into the earth in order for that to be replenished and rebirthed. And so that was like the main point for me that made me choose burial over cremation. And I just want to make note that there is no right or wrong way. Maybe you are traveling, or maybe you're living in a different country and you plan to move to a different country, and therefore cremation is the best thing for you. So not right or wrong, but just wanting to give some insight and some understanding of, if you are struggling with this idea of which way to go, these are some things can help. What path, burial or cremation, most reflects the journey that you guys had together. The other part of it was for me, and this came through a beautiful sister who helped me through this journey, this time in my life that was so difficult, was that she said to me, in 10 years' time, is an urn with some dust inside or some sand inside, is that actually going to matter? Like, are you still going to want to carry this around? And the answer for me was no. And if I go deeper into this piece or just share more of this with you, it was about letting go. Because I remember being in my bedroom and I was speaking to my partner and I was like, I was so torn. And he said to me, is it about the money or is it about letting go? And I said, you know what? I think it was about the money, because it was like $400. And he said to me, okay, well, let's go halves. And this is my gift to you and to Tilly. But I still couldn't do it. And that was really powerful for me, because it made me see that it actually had nothing to do with the money. It actually was about letting go. It was like, oh, this is the final piece, right? Once I take her to the vet and I hand her over and she gets put in a bag and she gets taken in the car to the crematorium, that's it. And so this was just another invitation, another piece for me to see myself and see where I was like still struggling to let go. And I just like, that's okay, right? These beautiful souls that just bring themselves into the heart and they crawl themselves in there and they plant themselves there. But these are all the beautiful pieces that we get to see and we get to unravel and we get to explore through the journey of grief. And if this is something that you're going through right now and you would love some support, then I am definitely here to help you. Feel free to reach out to me via DM or pop a comment. I'll also pop in, an email that you can actually contact me with as well. And I'm here to support you. But when my other beautiful friend said to me, is it going to matter in 10 years' time, you carrying around this urn? The answer was no, because what is going to enable Tilly to take the next part of her journey the most natural way? And for me, that was the earth. That if I put her in the earth, I was handing her over in ceremony to Mama Gaia and saying, thank you, Source, God, Spirit, for bringing me Tilly. Thank you for the journey. I am now giving the body back to the earth, back to Mama Gaia, and allowing Mama Gaia to take Tilly into the next steps, into the next journey, the next doorway, and allowing Mama Gaia to hold Tilly and nurture Tilly and nourish the body. And I'm talking about the body here, right? Because the soul of Tilly has already transitioned, has already left, but allowing Gaia to hold the body and work with the body. And then also allowing the nourishment from the body, allowing the body to decompose and allowing that nourishment to be sent back into the earth, and then allowing the nourishment from the body to continue its journey and to continue nourishing and fertilizing the earth for another journey. So continuing the circle of life is basically what I'm saying. And also knowing that she's with me forever. It doesn't matter whether she's been cremated or whether she's been buried, she's with me forever. Her soul and I cannot be separated. Her physical vessel is not here earthside anymore, but her soul and my soul are intertwined. You can't break us. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. I trust that was helpful, and I trust that those little pieces and my own coded storytelling and my own journey can support you and help you with making a decision. I do just want to add one other thing quickly while I remember. So we chose home euthanasia for Tilly. I'm going to talk about that in another video. And then the nurse came and said, came with the bag, because I was talking to her about cremation, and she brought the bag. And as soon as I looked at the bag, I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right. I was holding Tilly. She was lying on my chest. She was lying on my heart. Her head was right in here. And it felt like we'd shared 15 years together and all of these moments together. And then I've supported her to cross the bridge. And now I'm putting her body in a bag. Felt so wrong for me. And so that is just another little piece. Like, maybe if you're not sure, bring out the bag. Does that feel right? Does it not feel right? And then allow your instincts and your gut to guide you. Again, what I said in a previous video, trust your instincts, trust the journey, trust the co-creation and the communication and the relationship between you and your pet to be able to guide you to the right steps. And if cremation is right for you, great. And if burial is right for you, great. I trust that helps. And I'll see you on the next video. Ciao.